Hi friends, and we are back with the fifth episode of our series Learning Python. In this episode, we are going to learn about multiple variable assignments and also we are going to discuss about typecasting. So without any further ado, let's get started. In our last video, which was our third episode, we learned about variables. We named some variables and also we learned about the three data type of variables. We also made a small code in which we asked the user for an input which was his name, and then we would print his name with the sentence your name is. So in this episode, first let's see what are data types. So I'm going to create a new file which will be tutorial4.py. So now I've opened my file. So I'm going to type a comment here. So what is a comment? A comment is a line of code which is not to be included while running the code. You can enter a comment in Python using the hashtag. So if I type in anything here, it won't be included in the code and it is just for explaining or relating the code. So we learned about three data types which are strings, integers and float values. So strings are the sentences, integers are the numbers and float values are the decimal numbers. So let's see what is multiple assignment. In our main.py, we named three variables which were hello world, and we also named a variable which was var2, which value was 31 and var3's value was 91.231. If we want, we can do this whole 3-line task in a single line. How? Let me tell you. I'm going to name three children's age. First child name is Mike, whose age is 13. Second child name is Rachel, her age is 15. And third child name is Apollo, and his age is 18. And now if I print all these ages, I will be able to see that I obtain the results 13, 15 and 18. That's what it should come. But we have an easier way to do this. So first I'm going to print it and show to you. So Mike, Rachel and Apollo. Now if I run this, I will be able to see all these three ages. So now if we see, Rachel has no attribute as integer. And what does this mean? This means that I have entered a wrong value and I have entered a decimal here. So I have to remove the decimal, and now if I run this, I will be able to see the three ages which are 13, 15 and 18. So now let's see how we can do this 3-line code into a single line. I'm going to comment this whole code of block out here using Ctrl K plus C. This is a shortcut for commenting out in VS Code. Ctrl K plus C. Yes. So now I'm going to turn this 3-line code into a single line code. We have the name of the three children which are Mike, Rachel and Apollo. Yes, these are the three children. So what we are going to do is we are going to put an equal sign. Before the equal sign, we will define all the variable names and put a comma between all the variables to separate them. And after the equal sign, we are going to separate all the three values using commas. So if I type something as 13, 18 and 20. So the age for Mike will be defined as 13, the age for Rachel will be defined as 18 and the age for Apollo will be defined as 20. So now if I print the age of Apollo, you will be able to see that it will be 20. So now as I have run this code, it is showing me 20. So we converted this 3-line code into a single line code. What more we can do? We can also assign multiple values to single variables, and we can also assign multiple variables a single value. So if I want the age of Mike and Bob to be same, what would I do? I'm just going to delete this print Apollo command. Yes, if I want the age of Mike and Bob to be same, what would I do? I would type Mike, then I will put an equal sign and I will type Bob, then I will again put an equal sign and I will type the age. So if I want these two ages to be 12, so I am going to type 12. And now if I print the age of Bob, I will be receiving the output as 12. As you're able to see here, the output of Bob's age is 12. So this was about multiple assignments. So now let's see what is typecasting. I'm going to erase this code out and I'm going to also minimize or kill the terminal. So now let's see what is typecasting. I told you about the three data types. These three data types are interchangeable. So strings can be changed into integers and integers can be changed into strings, whereas float values can also be changed into strings, whereas string can also be changed into a float value. The three commands that we use for this are the int command, the str, which stands for string command, and the float command. Keep in mind that we use double round brackets or parentheses at the end of these commands. So now I'm going to show you how you can use these three commands. What I'm going to do is I'm going to define some variables. I will make a variable as enter num, and I'm going to add this value as input. So this would ask our user for an input, and I'm going to print the answer would be the enter num variable plus 10. So it will be the number that the user will enter, and it will be added to 10 and it will print the result. So if I type here enter num plus 10, the code is self-explanatory. So if I run this, I will get a blank checkbox where I will fill my answer. So I'm going to fill in here 91. As you are able to see, it is showing an error, which is can only concatenate string to string, not integer. And what does this mean? This means that Python can only add two strings. It cannot add an integer to a string or a string to an integer. And every value that a user inputs using the input function is saved as a string. So what we need to do? We need to convert the input that the user enter into a string. And now the use of input int command comes here. I'm going to type in here int, then I'm going to close enter num into double parentheses. Now if I run this, I will be able to see my answer. So if I type in here 91, I am able to see 101. So this means that the input that the user entered was converted into an integer and then it was added to 10. Let's make it a bit more complicated. I'm going to add a print statement here, and it will say enter your number. Now I'm going to print one more string with it. So if I want that your number after being, or we can also write your number after being added to 10 is. So now I will put the plus sign here because we can add two strings or two integers using plus and minus signs, as I told you in my last video. If you haven't checked out that video, you can check out that video from the top right corner. So this code also seems pretty self-explanatory, that it will ask for a number, then the user is going to enter his or her number, and it is going to print your number after being added to is the number that you entered plus 10. So now if I run this code, it is going to ask me for a number, and I'm going to type in here 41. Now as you are able to see, it is showing this error again. Can only concatenate string to string, not integer. So what we can do? We have already converted our string into an integer, and we cannot convert it into a string because how 10 will be added to then if. So now we are going to convert enter num also into a string. So now we are going to type in here str, and then we are going to close the whole equation, which is enter num plus 10, into double round brackets. And now if I run this code, I will see my answer, which is 41. And now it is showing your number after being added to 10 is 51. So we built a small calculator also that would add our number to 10. We can change the value of 10 to any number, 50 if we say. So if I run this, I am going to see your number being added to 10 is 81. It should be also 50. Yes. So now if we run this code, it is going to ask me for a number. I am going to type in here 50. Your number after being added to 50 is 100. So this code works, and in this episode I told you about multiple assignments, and also we discussed about typecasting. The three commands for typecasting I am repeating again are the str and the int and the float. That's all for this video. If this video helped you out, like this video and share this video. And if you are new to my channel, Subscribe to my channel for more Python related videos. And if you have any queries or doubts, you can type in your question in the comment section below and I will try my best to reply to your queries. See you in the next episode.